Hello and welcome to the Chris and Bud Show. My name is Chris Scarborough, and with me is my co-host, my friend, and my brother in pod, Mr. Bud Bohannon. Together, we'll be taking you on a nostalgic ride discussing a wide array of topics from our childhood through today, hoping to share a bunch of laughs along the way.
Yeah. You know what time it is. It's time.
No, not yet.
Can I go now?
Yeah, now.
It's time for the Chris and Bud Show. Sup, you beautiful sons of bitches. Nah, I'm just kidding. I ain't gonna call y'all that. Unless you want to. Anywho, we're gonna go back to our roots today. We're gonna talk about them thar video games and how bad they suck now.
I don't think that's the main point, but
Well,
yeah.
it's kind of the main point. This one's gonna be another free balling episode. We ain't got no notes. We don't need no notes. We gonna spit the truth. You heard?
Apparently.
Yeah. I don't know who I'm trying to be right now.
I don't know either because it's not Bud.
No.
It's like, listen, you told me to do the intro, so I'm gonna be somebody else.
That's it. It's just like when you tell me to say goodbye. I'm not doing it.
Yeah, no, you don't ever. So basically, what happened was we didn't have a topic, and I've been lazy lately. We thought about it, and we said, man, we haven't talked about video games in a long time.
It's been a minute.
What, like episode 6? I mean, it's been 2 months since we talked about a video game, and
Like 8 episodes ago.
yeah, so we just wanted to have a time just talk about video games. You know,
Wrong button.
It's that simple. Look at that. Didn't he, look? Who needs a cough button now?
I guess I got to leave that in there.
Yep, you can't cut it because you don't cut mine. You make fun of mine. So I need an edit where you make fun of it.
I'm just going to cut the cough and leave it where you say who needs a cough button now. And then people are going to think you look stupid.
Yep, that won't be the first time. So, video games. This actually partly came up because we were joking about like how it feels today. Go ahead.
We was talking through text message, and our original topic today was going to be, oh hell, I done forgot what we was going to talk about.
We're going to talk about things they don't teach you in school.
Yeah, okay. And then I forgot how we even got on the conversation of video games. But somehow we got on that topic. And then me and Chris were texting for like 10 minutes straight about video games. And I'm like, you want to just talk about video games tonight on the show? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, all right.
Well, so a lot of it stemmed from basically what Bud said, but a lot of it stemmed from because it seems like video games today
suck.
Yeah, I mean, truthfully, I mean, it kind of is what it is. When it's almost like you just don't even bother to play a video game until it's been out for a year, and then you play it.
Yeah,
because
after
they're
it's
so
fixed.
Poorly made. Yeah, they're so poorly made today.
Which makes no sense, man. We are in the time of technology. Technology's never been better. Graphics are amazing. You know, we got the hardware to run these graphics at decent frame rates. We got amazing audio sound. We got, you know, what I thought would be creative minds. But it's like they just rely on the technology and stuff we have to hide behind the fact that they have no creativity. And maybe it's because everything's been done already. I don't know. The creativity aside, the actual technical performance of games, especially new games, they release products that aren't ready to be released. And I'm tired of it, truth be told.
I need a soapbox Bud moment put in before we start that. I'm just kidding.
Man, I agree. I hate it. I really do. It shouldn't be a thing because it feels like it's a constant thing. Does it not?
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, like, for example, the two games we ended up talking about was the game I play more than any other game is Marvel Strike Force. It's a mobile game. They just sent out this insane compensation pack to every player because they just took the game down randomly, which they've never done. And because of the bugs that they created trying to add content, it broke the. I mean, it literally just it gave so many people the opportunity to just be success. It was insane. I've never seen a compensation package like that. As soon as it went out, a lot of these content creators were saying, "Listen, they just broke the game." I mean, you just gave everybody 7 million gold, which is like a very. I mean, that's not a lot really, but that's still enough to you can level a character from 1 to 85, or 80. I'm sorry. And there's a lot of things that you can do with that 7 million gold. And they just basically broke the game. They gave everybody 20 red star orbs. They charged $10. I'm sorry, they charged $50 for that. You know what I'm saying? Like to get that 7 million gold, that's like at least $50 too. Like this compensation package, if they broke it down in monetary increments, you're talking about they just gave us like $150 worth of game stuff at least. And it's they gave us a free Elite Four, which is what they call like their Red Star orbs, where it's guaranteed to drop 4 or higher. They charge $49 for just that one orb. I mean, Jesus, I mean it's insane.
Yeah,
First of all, the pricing's stupid.
I'm gonna call you Soapbox Chris because I just heard you say fuck, and you don't normally use that word.
I try not to.
I can tell you're hot. You're heated.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy too. Like, right? So I got this just as much as everybody else did, but it's like.
In the process,
it's the freaking game.
In the process, yeah, it's fucking up the balance of the game.
Yeah, because so you gave. I mean, of course, I still have things that I could spend that stuff on. Don't get me wrong, but you had this come out right as a new character was coming out. So if people got lucky and pulled a 6 red star on some of these new characters that are coming, that's bullshit. You know what I'm saying? I opened the same freaking orb, but I didn't get nothing. So it's just weird. It's all chance and luck anyway. So it's just frustrating. But this all came out because of something they did in the first fucking place. I don't understand how hard it is to make things go live. Like, why not beta test? Listen, when I played for EverQuest, you can go to the test server today, and they are beta testing shit for a month before it goes live in a game to test out everything that could possibly happen to make sure that everything is balanced and everything is working properly. How the hell can another game not do this? I just don't. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand why that's such an issue today. Like you said, Outriders is having an issue right now. How hard is it to freaking beta test stuff? I don't understand. Like what is so difficult about it? What makes it impossible to have a group of like 10 or 15 people test out your game? I just don't understand. It doesn't make any sense.
It beats me. And here's my deal with Outriders. Outriders is right now currently doing what they did with Borderlands 3. They have already issued fixes as far as character balance before getting the game stable. And I have issues with that. When you push out fixes that nerf the balance of a game before you push out fixes that make a game playable, like being a stable video game, there's something wrong with that. You need to make your game stable first. Then you can worry about balance. And this was the issue with Borderlands 3, is because you would find a character, you'd find a build, you would go get the gear for the build, and then here comes 2K, and then they nerf the build. You're like, well, okay, whatever.
It's Gearbox.
Yeah.
Gearbox.
Okay. 2K is the publisher. I got them mixed up.
Yeah.
So you'd find that game, or you'd find that build, and then they nerf it, and you're like, okay, whatever. You go find the next build, and you go and get gear for that. And then what do? They realize it's overperforming, so now they nerf that build. And at that point, you're like, all right, fuck this. I'm done. If you're going to keep nerfing everything that I'm playing your game to do, what's the point in playing it?
But why nerf it? There's no PvP. There's no reason to balance the game.
That's another thing I don't get.
There's no reason to balance it. It's not like Destiny 2. As much as we could bitch about Destiny 2, they have a PvP section that's super competitive that I understand why they try to balance things. I don't know why they don't just turn off certain things in fucking PvP versus PvE.
I mean, I agree.
don't know why that's difficult.
They should balance those two separately, not together.
Yeah, because you'll ruin an entire gun class balancing it because people only use auto rifles, for example, or whatever. It doesn't matter. Scout rifles. The auto aim's too good, so we're gonna reduce it. Whatever. Well, damn it. You know what? We're shooting into damn bullet sponges over here in PvE. Okay, I need all the damn aiming I can get.
Yeah,
all right.
I don't like scout rifle metas because I only play PvE. Scout rifles suck in PvE.
They're frustrating in PvE. Yeah, it's just I don't know. We're sort of like on our soapboxes right now. We'll come down soon, but
maybe
it's one of those things. Maybe it's one of those where it's just like, man, this is a funny kind of not really a funny story, but an anecdotal story. Anecdotal story is I started playing. Yeah,
that was funny.
Ha! That was loud.
Clipping.
I was playing. I went back and started playing EverQuest just to kind of like goof off, right? And I realized why I loved that game, and I don't really connect with any games going on right now. I just don't. I was like, man, I don't know why I play anything else. Like, let's just play this. I know it's fucking 20-something years old, but I still enjoy it. Like, I still enjoy going in and playing the damn game. It's so weird.
Makes you sound like grandpa.
Yeah, I know. Considering the game's 20 years old.
I remember back in my day, back when video games were actually good.
Sound like my dad.
Back when all I had was Pac-Man. Now, that was a video game.
Defender, man. You ever played Defender, man? That's the good stuff, man. That's my dad. Or Galaga. I just struggle with the new ones, man. Like you said, Outriders, right? You were like, yeah, you got to play it. So I downloaded it because it's free on Xbox. Or not free, but it's through the Xbox Game Pass. So I download it, and the game literally glitches in the fucking tutorial. In the tutorial, okay? I'm not even in the open world yet. It glitches, and I can't even get past the point where you kill the guys, and you're supposed to jump over something, I think. And I couldn't even get past it because the game glitches, and it wouldn't allow me to jump over the freaking boxes.
Mm-hmm.
It's the fucking tutorial.
So you're stuck with one option: reset the game. And who the fuck wants to reset what they've just played?
Yeah, I've never played it again. I was like, this is stupid. It's stupid, man. Like, how hard is it to make the tutorial, dude?
The first 10 minutes of gameplay. Yeah.
Like, and it's required gameplay, and it's not like there's other people that can frick this part up. You know what I'm saying? Like, that can screw it up, that can whatever. Weird interactions with another human being who's playing the game too. No, nothing. It's literally you in the damn game. And I was like, and you were like, I played it for a little bit, then I just played it on PC. And I was like, well, I don't have that freaking option, okay? And I'm not playing it again. And then Little John come over, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, and he's like, there's this game on Game Pass you should try out. It's called Outriders. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? I was like, I did, John. Okay, I freaking did. And he's like, okay. I was like, and it sucks. Can't even get past the tutorial. And
and this is where I'll insert my PC Master Race. I had no problems doing that, but I have had problems where it's like you have to go talk to this person, and then you talk to them, and nothing happens, so you have to quit the game anyway. But you do load back at the same point, but still, you shouldn't have to begin with.
It's like, what the hell, dude?
My issue is like, all right, so Outriders currently right now, there's this thing where there's some characters that lose their whole inventory. So
how?
Yeah.
How?
Yeah.
How is this even possible?
Yeah, that's a pretty big one. So people will log into the game and their character will be naked. They ain't gonna have no inventory, no gears, no clothes on, no nothing.
How pissed I would be if I log in and like my epic character that I've grinded for like 40 fucking hours has no gear on.
Yeah. They got that bug squashed, or so they think. So far, reports have been good. So how do they do a makeup? They give people 20 legendary guns and armor, and all 20 pieces are god rolled gear. Man, fuck that.
How can you not just roll back? How can you not just roll back what they fucking had? You tell me you don't have any save ports of like they had in their inventory?
I don't know. I mean, I can understand.
There's got to be code in there for it. Like there has to be.
I can understand how figuring out, because this happened to like thousands of people. So I can understand how it'd be hard to track down who had what and to give it back out. Why does the gear have to be God rolled? Like, you're taking someone like me that's already played the game for 40 hours, and then these people that had their shit erased could probably have the same shit that I'm wearing, but now they got God rolled shit. What?
Yeah, better stuff. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
It's like Diablo in a fucking auction house, man.
That was probably one of the biggest mistakes.
Worst launches I've played in the past 10 years. Yeah.
So let's just talk about that. How about that? How about we just do like, we've been disappointed a lot lately, but just think about like we'll just say last 10 years, worst games we've played. Obviously, that doesn't mean they stayed that way. Like, worst games we've played. Because Diablo's up there. Diablo 3 is one of the worst games launched that I've ever played in my entire life. It felt like there was no, like, it was like what is it, Dark Souls? It almost felt like that in a lot of ways, right? I mean, not to the same.
The servers were on fire.
Yeah, and well, I'm saying like, but the thing is, like, you couldn't progress either.
You're this AAA game maker. You have a pretty sound idea how many people are about to buy your title, especially if it's a fucking sequel.
Yeah,
and you aren't prepared
one of the
for
best
this shit.
Games you had, yeah. I've never understood that. Never. I've never understood how, like, for example, this happened in Destiny as well. Destiny 2, like when they launched, right? You had to wait in fucking line to join the game. It's like, you didn't know that a couple million people were going to buy your fucking game. Like, get out of here, dude. Yeah. Get out of here. You couldn't buy an extra server bandwidth for a couple weeks to help the people who actually paid the $60 freaking dollars or the $80 or the $100 for your damn game. Get out of here. Get out of here. That's bullcrap.
No, they were too worried about releasing their DLC.
Yeah, that they were fucking working on.
That were already paid for.
Yeah,
that wasn't even considered a DLC.
They changed what a DLC was considered for sure, because the value versus what you got was not there. And then they just do seasons now where you pay $10 for fucking 90 days.
They still do DLCs.
No, I'm with you, but I'm saying, like, so a DLC back in the day, and then like a DLC even with like Borderlands 2, you felt like you were still getting your money's worth in the DLC.
Oh yeah.
But then they charging $50 for a fucking DLC, and you got 2 missions in a damn raid, and the raid was bugged, and you can't do the raid, or you can't do this, you can't do that. It's like, what the hell, dude? What did I spend my money on?
Or it was half of a raid.
Yeah, or it's not. Yeah, just a continuation of another raid. Yeah.
No creativity, no actual content. Same price point of a normal DLC. Like, fuck you, Bungie. I'm done with your shit.
Yeah.
And it sucks because I love Destiny 1 so much.
I would say that might be like Destiny 1 is probably in my top 5 favorite games of all time.
Yeah, I mean, I would almost put it as my predecessor to Diablo 2. Like, my list would probably have to be like Diablo 2, and then Halo 2, and then Gears, and then Destiny 1.
Yeah, mine's like, man, I don't really think about it that hard, but definitely EverQuest, and then, man, Destiny 1 might be number 2, because I've like never really, I mean, Borderlands 2 I really loved, but I think Destiny 1 was better than that. I never really got into your Halos, or, I mean, I played Gears, but I wasn't like into it like you guys were, so it never was really in my list. But dude, I'm telling you, EverQuest, Destiny 1, Borderlands 2, that's my top 3 probably.
Probably throw the Assassin's Creeds in there for you.
Yeah, Assassin's Creed 2 actually is probably ahead of Borderlands, but that's just purely story. But the Assassin's Creed 2 is a great one. It's the best one in the entire series for sure. And then I really enjoyed WoW in the early stages of WoW up until the Lich King.
I didn't, because you had to pay to play it.
Well, I was already used to that. And EverQuest 2 was in there too.
I wasn't, because even back then I couldn't wrap my mind around spending $50 for a fucking game and then spending more money per month to play the fucking game. Are you shitting me?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, isn't it? And it hasn't died. Here's the thing.
Like, if you're going to go down that route, why not just make it a monthly service and download the game for free? Why the fuck are you going to charge me $50 to download the game and then $15 a month for the fucking CD key to play the fucking game? Really?
Yeah. Like, even so, the funny thing is that a lot of these have kind of gone away with that, except for WoW. WoW is still not free to play. Almost all MMOs are free to play these days. They still charge you the $50 a year. I look at it that way, right? I look at it like $50 a year for my my extra content, and then the $15 a year for my. I don't pay anybody $15 a month anymore, but I used to.
I don't. I look at it as money hungry fuckers.
I mean, I agree. I'm just saying, like, I don't. So the $50, like, to buy the next year's worth of content isn't the issue with me. My issue is $10 isn't enough. Like, $10 isn't covering what you need. Why does it have to be 15? I don't know where this arbitrary number of $15 came from.
Yeah, and the other thing you got to think about too is when WoW came out. I think I was 16.
It was like 2003. Yeah,
2003.
I think it was 2003. Yeah.
Okay, so I was 14, 15, somewhere around there. I didn't have a job. I didn't have money to spend per month on a video game. Video games, you paid that flat fee, and that was your fucking video game. It was simple pimple. It ain't like it is today. I just hate that the standard we live in. Because you know that video games release now with DLC in mind before the game even fucking launches.
Well, yeah. I mean, today, so...
Whether the game's a success or not, there's already DLC planned for it. I guarantee you.
Well, so yeah. So the gaming industry has obviously changed a lot since we were kids.
For the worse.
I 100% agree, because, like, just putting in perspective, like I was saying, for example, Marvel Strike Force, the company who owns them is called Scopely. They bought the company, or the original game developer, called Fox Next, which was originally owned by Disney. Disney actually owned this game and owned the game developer who made it. And then they sold it to Scopely. And Scopely is basically a giant mobile game developer. They made like almost $250 million off of this game last year. That's net profit. Okay? Think about that. Let me say that one more time. $250 million.
Off a free game.
Yes. 100% free game to play. I almost blame Fortnite, really, for a lot of this. Epic and Fortnite.
Fortnite's the most beautiful success story out of a free game generating a lot of money.
Yeah, it is they created a whole new genre of issues.
Whole new genre of video game industry.
Yeah, they changed the world, and they changed the gaming industry a lot.
But Epic.
Unfortunately, for the worse, right? Like, they've done this a lot. Epic did a lot of things because they created the Unreal Engine, and that's
best
changed
thing
gaming
ever.
Definitely one of the best engines ever created. We're on like 3 or something now, but it's one of the best gaming engines out there. And the thing about Epic, I give them a lot of credit for this, is that they have a tendency to try to side with the little guy, and I do appreciate that. But at the same time, like, come on, dude, like, it's insane what they charge these people. So for me, I struggle with like Smite and these. I don't know how to lump them because they're different. I know the battle royales are different than your style, but you work through the game, through this particular fight or this battle, to get all this stuff, and then you start over with nothing. And I just don't. It doesn't make sense to me. Like, I just never understood how that became such a popular thing. Like, battle royales, like, you just hope you find something that's worth a damn. Then you kill somebody, and then you hope that you win. And I just don't get it. It doesn't. I just don't get it. I don't understand.
It's just that competition-based aspect. That's solely all it is. It's no different than playing Halo multiplayer or Gears multiplayer. But it's not.
It's not super. It's not, because there's also random chance, random luck. If I drop in and I can't find a gun worth of crap, then I'm more than likely going to die. Even with you know what I'm saying? If I come across a guy with a good gun and I have a bad gun, it doesn't matter how much skill you have. And now there's probably some Fortnite guys who are like, yeah, there really is. It does matter who has the gun too. If we're on equal playing fields, like if we're the same skill and you have a better gun than I do, I'm going to die.
I won't argue that. I mean, I'm not a fan of battle royales myself.
It just doesn't make sense.
But I would
much rather.
I am a fan of MOBAs, and I am a fan of online shooters, like minus their campaigns, or like Call of Duty Zombies, or just strictly their multiplayer, which is on a fair playing field for everybody.
Yeah, that's different. Right. You all have the same guns. You have the same stuff available to you. I've never really cared. So that one was always fine with me, and I enjoyed the like having to level up the gun to get the different sort of paints for it and all that stuff. All that was cool. But now they just sell it to you, because they realize they can make more money than making you play the game.
But truth be told, I'm fine with that.
I am too.
If they want to charge money to offer you the flexibility to appear differently, like if it's only cosmetic, I am 1000% behind that. Go make your bread. But
My thing is though,
back to Diablo.
Yeah.
When you charge real money for stuff that can influx your actual progress of the game, aka pay to win, I'm done with it before I even play it.
That we completely agree on. I guess my thing is like you still have to make it available for, well, to some extent, right? Like in Diablo, it's different. In like, for example, the mobile games like Marvel Strike Force that I play, the whales as they call them, they're the ones that keep the lights on. They're the ones that spend the majority of that $250 million I mentioned.
Because they're blowing $100 a week or a month.
Oh no, that way more than that. I know a guy.
I mean, I get it. My little mobile game I played, I mean, there was whales in there too. Like they would release the level cap, and the developer expects people that have already been at the level cap that keep on grinding to hit the level cap within like a couple weeks. Whales would hit it the minute that the cap was unlaunched.
But I'm okay with like, I know that I'm never going to be in that same tier. And I'm totally okay with that. But I also don't have to deal with that tier of people. They're in totally different tier. They're not, me and them we don't interact. I don't have to fight them in war. I don't have to fight them in arena. I don't have to fight them in any of my game modes that are PvP. Yeah, player versus player in any way, shape, or form. I don't have to deal with them. So I'm okay with that.
I'm not still. Because then if you start in a conversation with somebody that you know, and you're like, take Diablo, for example, it's like, yeah, I'm a hell of a Diablo guy. I've got a, Paragon level 20,000 barbarian that can do Greater Rift 300. And I'm just over here thinking, okay, you spent a lot of money. Congratulations. You still suck at the game, I'm sure.
Well, so Diablo especially, like I like those games that require you to kind of, like, for example, EverQuest. I always come back to this. EverQuest required you, it doesn't matter how much money you spend on the game, you still have to know the character, how the character works, why you do what you do, and how to do it, and when to do it. And all these things all matter more. Like, for example, people used to buy characters all the time, so they would sell the account. So they leveled the character to the cap. You can do that if you're what they call power leveling. It could take you a couple days, like like maybe a week or two, if you're doing it hardcore. And then you can gear them out pretty quickly, get them like pretty good gear, and you can sell it for a couple $100, $1,000, whatever. Not a massive really investment. And they would sell it to these people. And these people would buy it, and then they would come into the game, and then they would suck because it doesn't matter that they have max AAs or that they have the best gear in the game. If you don't know how to play the character, you can't just win just because. And Diablo 3 is the same way. You still have to know how to play the character. If I go in there and try to play a witch doctor on like Torment or what's the final one? Difficulty? Hell?
Torment 10.
Torment 10. So if I try to do Torment 10, even if I had really good gear, I'm probably not going to be successful because I just don't like that, or rather I don't play that character that much, right? And I don't know it that well. But if we said, I probably can't do Torment 10 with any of my characters, but
well, yeah, I mean, I know what you're saying, because there's certain builds that rely on how you play the game. And if you're not knowledgeable or good at playing that play style, your gear isn't going to walk you through that difficulty level.
Yeah, it requires both. Yeah, you have to know what you're doing. So, for example, like we probably got through, me and you, we probably got through some stuff that we probably shouldn't have because we were pretty good at, especially in Diablo 3 when we had played together, like because we knew the stuff pretty well. And me and Little John did the same thing on Neverwinter, where we were able to get through a 6-man dungeon with 2 people. You know what I'm saying? Like we built the entire dungeon on level. Like it's not like we were way above the leveled cap or that leveled for that particular dungeon and then went into it. We're literally fighting the dungeon at the level that it was required 6 people. And me and John, because we know the characters and we knew what we were doing, were able to get through it. And I think that's like what I'm, you know what I'm saying? We could have paid and I could have bought all the gear and all the stuff and whatever and power level through it even quicker, but that's part of it. Like I've always enjoyed the challenge just as much and learning the character, because at the end of the day, that's what's the most fun, right? That's what an MMO was always for role playing. So you could kind of and not just MMOs, but
for
games
me,
in general.
About getting that sweet loot.
Well, that comes with it, right? But you also have to enjoy the character, right? You usually. What did you play in Diablo 3?
Anytime I pick an RPG game, I always go after the fast two-handed DPS-y guy. That's just my play style. I hate playing tanks, or like how John likes picking support people. That is my least favorite class to play because I'm a selfish asshole. I don't want to support anybody.
That's why I wish we'd all play together. Because I love tanks, you love DPS, John loves healing. Boom, we got a group, brother. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
And it's the same way in Smite. You know, y'all got your roles. You know, in your 5 lanes, you got a carry, which is your ranged DPS guy. You got the tank. You got a mid laner, which is generally like magical damage. You got a jungler, which is generally melee physical damage. And then you got a warrior, which is kind of in between a tank and a assassin. So he's kind of like a bruiser, pretty much.
So he could do DPS and do a little bit of tanking.
Right. And can you guess my favorite role in Smite?
Jungle. I'm probably wrong. I didn't hear all of them. I think we said jungle.
The hunter. The carry.
Oh, the carry. Okay, I got you. Yeah. So what's funny is I actually enjoy tanking, but I do enjoy rogue / assassin / like ranger sort of those sort of things. I've never really been into like the magical damage sort of guys.
Same.
I don't know why. This is not my play style.
I don't like them because they're so squishy.
Yeah. I think that's why I've always liked tanks because when I first started playing EverQuest, because this is the game that sort of developed my play style, right?
If you're playing by yourself and you start with a squishy character, you might not be able to beat the game by yourself, and then that discourages you from playing it.
Yeah, 100%. What was funny is my buddy, he was so what ended up happening was one of my best friends at the time, he played the game, and he was a druid, which is like a healer / DPS. They don't do a lot of DPS, they focus on both, but they're kind of like a second tier DPS and a second tier healer, so they're not really good at either one. They're not good at either one. Yep. Excuse me. And so I was like, well, what would be good with both of us so that we could play together? And of course, this was in like this weird time frame in EverQuest, and I was like, well, what if I'm a tank? And he's like, but warriors are sort of undervalued, which was the main tanks in the raids, or they were warriors. They still did some decent DPS, and they were two-handers. Now they use shields. They're a shield and a one-hander. It's just the way the game has progressed. But and I was like, well,
meta shift.
Yeah, meta shift. Yeah. Because of how hard the shit hits now, you kind of can't use two one-handed weapons because the extra AC or armor class from a shield makes it a lot better. So I was like, well, what about a paladin? Because the two was either a Shadow Knight or a paladin. They're the other two tanky styles, and the Shadow Knight's a bad guy, and I like to think I'm a good guy, and and literally, I know that sounds ridiculous, but that is the reason I picked him. Is like
I'm the opposite.
I believe. Yeah, exactly. But I'm just saying, for me, I was like, oh, I'm kind of a good guy. I think I'm going to be a good guy. So I picked a good guy, and that was a paladin. It was a great decision, and I love that. I love that class. But yeah, it's kind of funny that you're the exact opposite.
Yeah, I like to pick the evil-looking dude. Like when I played Warcraft 3, my favorite race was the undead race, just because they looked the coolest. That's the sole reason I chose that class.
That is so funny. Yeah, I went with and
I'm like that with a lot of video games.
Paladin.
Like, how
I agree.
You know how nowadays you kind of, because of the internet and YouTube and Google, you kind of research a game before it comes out, and you're like, what role do I want to play when this game launches? And you kind of do a little delving into what roles do what, and you're like, that's my guy. Back in our day, it was load up the game, and I didn't even pick based on, I didn't read any descriptions either. I'm just like, that guy looks the coolest, I'm picking him. That's how I played Mario Kart. That's how I played Star Fox. That's how I played, all these other games that had character selects. I just picked the dude that looked the most badass.
Yeah, I've always been, I guess, so the way I've always looked at it is like, no one likes to play the tank. No one I've ever really met's like, man, I love tanking, So I think that was part of the reason why I enjoyed the tank, because it's like, I always got a roll. You know what I'm saying? I'm always needed in a lot of ways.
You don't have to fight with nobody. Because people like me that like to play carry, which is the high DPS role, or a dime a dozen.
Right. Well, all DPS is so in EverQuest. The way EverQuest used to work back in the day, it's not this way anymore. Is you needed two things. You needed a tank and you needed a healer. The other four characters are irrelevant, but but you needed those two. Otherwise, you don't have a group, right?
Mm-hmm.
And really, ideally, a perfect world. You had your tank. You had a paladin or a shadow knight as a backup tank. You had a healer. You had your one DPS and one support. Or I'm sorry, two DPS and one support. That was your ideal. So you had your 3 and 3. I mean, there's a lot of people who could do that sort of now. There's a lot more. So like even a ranger could, even though they're mostly bow, they still have two one-handed weapons, and they could tank for a little bit if shit were to hit the fan.
See, and this is kind of where I have some quarrel with games. For example, like Diablo. If you wanted to go through, like say in Diablo 3, if you wanted to pick 4 barbarians to run through the game, you could easily do so. You don't need any variety to push through the video game. Or like,
I think that's frustrating, yeah.
Or like Destiny, you know how some, like when raids first come out, you know, those LFG forums were always like, we need a hunter and then 3 titans and 2 warlocks, or we need 4 warlocks and 2 hunters. You know what I mean? Because each role did their own thing.
Yeah, I kind of wish that would come back. I miss it a lot. I know it sucks because if you don't have that particular character, but like I really enjoyed where you could. Now I do like so for example, we would have like you would make some mismatched groups and you would still be able to kind of kill content, but that's more because of the character or the people who are playing the characters and like I said, the know-how, what to do, how to do it, when to do it is almost as important as the character themselves. So there have been times where I had some mismatched groups where I'm a tank and then I got 3 or 4 shaman and a fucking DPS, like a necromancer or something, or a necromancer and something like that. And they're keeping me healed and they're still doing damage and we're still kicking ass. And it's like, that's an unusual group combo, but you find a way too, right? Like the characters or the people playing the characters can kind of make the difference. And I always thought that was something that it lacks. Like, for example, if me and you want to jump in right now on Destiny 2 or even Diablo 3, it doesn't matter what character I choose, doesn't matter what character you choose, we'll be fine. And that's frustrating. I get it because you want to be able to do it by yourself, but at the same time, it's like,
it's boring.
I wish there was a reason. Right. It's like, why do I have to run with this? Like, for example, what difference does it make if I got a hunter or a like? Why can't on a strike you require a hunter, a warlock, and a titan? How hard is that? Or define the roles a little bit more. I know we talked about this when we talked about Destiny 1 and 2. Was that I get why they didn't do it because they didn't want to pigeonhole anybody, but at the same time, that's what made games fun. Was that you needed these particular characters, like that you needed to play, and I wish that I could find a game that we all like that we could do that again. I don't know if that'll ever happen.
That's why I like Smite though, is because you can do some hybrid team comps. So like you could run 2 hunters on a team, a mage, a tank, and a jungler. The problem though is that 90% of the time that standardized comp that MOBAs are known for is going to get you the W. So it's a proven theory. What this game was designed for is how you need to build your team. You know, and you've got plenty of characters to choose between the roles. So I think there's like around 15, 20 characters per role. I mean, there's 103, 102 gods total in the game. You know, there's a lot more in League. So it gives you that flexibility to create a team while still playing within the parameters of what the game was designed for. You're not just picking a team of 5 magical mages and running the field. You know, if it were Diablo, you could just pick 4 barbarians or 4 sorceresses and just go do whatever you wanted to, because the game's not set up for that kind of role optimization.
Yeah, and I wish they would go back to it. I think that, I mean, still, even what you were saying with Smite, like you said, it does require roles, and I think that's a good thing. And like you said, it does have some flexibility in terms of what you pick. And of course, you know, we're talking about older games too, and Smite's a relatively new game compared to the one I keep comparing it to. but WoW does the same thing. EverQuest 2 does the same thing. All these old MMOs, that's what they kind of built their thing on, right? Like, even though you can, like, WoW, their whole thing was you can tackle group content, solo content by yourself with basically any character. And I'm cool with that. So then group content, it requires a certain, group, and I think that's a great thing. And then raids are the same way. If you want to do raids, well, you're going to have some tanks. You're going to have a lot of healing. You're going to have your DPS.
And
you can't do it with just all tanks or all healers.
But that's the other thing too, is like there's some games like as people join the game, the difficulty gets more complicated. Like they increase like the health and the damage by a percentage based on how many people are in your lobby. I like that because it still allows you to play the game solo, like you mentioned earlier. The problem is, like with Diablo, no matter how much they increase that difficulty, you could still run through it with 4 of the same character class.
Yeah, that's always been my big, like I said, I think that's been my big gripe for the most part.
No, mine has still been money.
Well, I mean, at some point you got to just. I think we're gonna have to learn to live with it to some extent.
I'm not letting it go. No, no,
it doesn't impact me, so I don't care.
No, you're not changing my mind.
I'm not trying to change your mind.
I said God no. Knows,
I don't bother. But for me, for example, if EverQuest, which it is to some extent, pay to win, because at the end of the day, if you buy enough XP potions, you can get to level 115 quicker.
No,
if you did all these things, you could get there.
No, but I couldn't.
So could I. I don't pay for it. I could still get. Well, at that level, it's different. You have to pay the $15 if you want to get to like 115, unless you want to sit there and fight way below your power level to be able to kill stuff, because they disabled AC Augs and all this shit. But I think that would be something that would be fun if we could. I can't wait till Diablo 2 comes live. Hopefully I get a new computer before then. But what if they put that stuff in Diablo 2 or in Diablo 3?
I won't play it. Plain and simple.
Well, they're going to find a way to make some money off of it. So
I've already played the game. I'm not missing out on much. You see how my brain works, people?
Yeah, it doesn't. So that's
hey.
Anyway, give me another game that you played that was terrible at launch.
Truth be told, I can't think of any because I play a lot of games, and then I play them for 5 or 10 minutes, and then I just completely scrap them out of my mind.
I guess we've already beaten up on.
I mean, it's not
Anthem
that
enough.
Yeah, it's not that I'm not open to video games, because fuck, I'll download anything and give it a try.
Not a fair one sometimes, but yeah.
Well, I mean, no, it's just I know you and John really give me shit about not giving a game a fair chance.
Much.
But yeah. Man, if I get into a game and it just drives like absolute ass, like the game engine sucks, I know myself as a person. I will never get used to a shitty game engine. It's just not going to happen. So why bother wasting my own time?
That's how I feel about Bethesda in basically every game they've ever released. The Fallout series, Elder Scrolls.
The best way I could put it into an analogy is like if you eat a brand new piece of food or a meal that you've never had before, and it smells like shit, and it looks like shit, probably going to taste like shit too, right? There might be that circumstance where it might be a really good meal, but most of the time, you're going to trust your other senses that if it looks like shit and it smells like shit, it probably tastes like shit too. Like, no one's ever going to convince me that eating crickets is good. I know some people around the world think crickets are a delicacy. You ain't going to convince me otherwise. I'm the same way with video games.
They're going to work on it. That's apparently the new thing with burgers. They're trying to get it to be cricket burgers.
Yeah, the impossible cricket burger.
Yeah, fuck that. Anyway,
I want my meat.
As we say, fuck that.
I like the Arby's where they advertise we have the meats. That's what I want.
I guess Fallout wasn't made by Bethesda. I guess
it was.
I don't remember who it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, for some reason I couldn't find it. Anyway, yeah, I feel the same way about that series. Like, it's a great series. Everyone loves it. I just don't. I don't like Fallout. I don't like the Elder Scrolls series. I don't like the way the
I don't
combat
either.
system works. I just don't enjoy it.
I don't like
So
the
I
game
get
engine.
you. Right. So I get it. It's just kind of funny how it works, I guess. I don't know. Like, I in my mind, I'm like, how the fuck did this game get to be as popular as it is? And the damn combat system is like literally from 1995.
It's wonky as fuck. Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like the original. Well, Dark Souls feels that way too. Like, I didn't enjoy the game engine, and then on top of that, you're telling me that it's like really fucking hard too. So
But at the same token, that whole philosophy does get flipped around. For example, Godfall, it plays nice. The combat system's fun. It just ain't got no fucking content to it. Which I'd rather have.
Weird.
I'd rather have that problem though, because
Of the two, yeah.
Because then a DLC can easily fix that. If Godfall comes out with a paid DLC, I will 1000% buy it because there's nothing wrong with the core game.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing that how differently, we have the same outlook on that. But it's amazing. Like, for example, I was thinking about this. I was laying in bed one day and literally was thinking about,
was it daytime or nighttime?
I think I was trying to get the baby to go to bed, so to take a nap. So I think it was probably at daytime.
I just want to make sure you're telling the truth, not lying.
Yeah. No. I'm being legit, 100%.
I'm legit to quit.
Yep. And I'm laying in bed and I'm thinking to myself, like,
that's how you think?
Yeah, I am. I'm like thinking to myself, damn, dude, I really don't like shooters that much, but Destiny just fucking did it right. Like, I was like, God dang, literally that's what I'm thinking to myself. And I'm like, I don't know how the hell I played Destiny for as long as I did, because I can't remember what I was playing. Oh, when I was playing, I played Outriders for like 5 minutes. And, I was like, man, this game fucking blows. I mean, that's just how it felt. I didn't like the combat system. I didn't like the fucking.
Look,
I mean, I don't mind the cover.
I completely understand because I'm not a big fan of fighting games. Yet I played the ever loving shit out of Street Fighter 4.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? I mean, I've never really minded shooters.
You're not a competition based person.
No, I'm very much a player. A play versus environment, team based is what I prefer.
Yeah, like if me and you go play Destiny right now and we boot into a 1v1 PvP game,
you're probably going to win most times.
Well, I mean, besides that, you just don't have no emotion when you play. You're just kind of like, I got shot. He killed me. You don't have that spark underneath your ass. It's like, no, fuck you. I hit you. How did you start shooting after me and you fucking killed me? Fuck you. Fuck your grandmother. Fuck your dog. Get the fuck out of here. You got to get that fucking fire under your ass. That's what makes the game so fun. Granted,
I don't have it anymore.
As I grow older, I lose that competitive spirit, and I'm slowly sliding. Well, not slowly. I'm kind of done slid there now. Into single player story games or small fire team style games.
I'm definitely in that spot. Yeah, I don't really I just don't enjoy PvP anymore because I never felt like it was always very balanced. Like, for example, a great example is when we used to play Call of Duty, right? Every time we play Call of Duty, I always felt like it was pretty balanced. I never felt like it was more skill than anything. Now, there's always wonky shit that happened, but you never felt like...
You never used the M4. You never used the M4?
Yeah, I fucking love the M4. It's my favorite gun. So that
because it was broken.
Yeah, I could headshot from across the map. I mean, come on. But here's the thing. Everybody
ACR
knew the
man.
What was the... no, it wasn't the M4. What was the... what was that little submachine gun?
P90?
What was that one? No, not the P. No, it wasn't the P90. There's another one. It's like an M8 or something.
MP5?
Yeah, the MP5. Yeah. That one I could headshot from across the map. Like, dude, the thing's got a fucking range of like, I don't know.
And fuck you, because my favorite class in Call of Duty was the fucking stabbing class. So I don't want to hear shit.
Yeah. I remember having so much fun.
And see, that right there, that just validates my point. My favorite class wasn't even a class. It was just to run around and stab people. So, little background.
You were an awesome decoy.
little background is when we had a full lobby, I used to drop out of the lobby and then wait for the host to start the game. And then I'd open up the Xbox dashboard and join the session in progress so I could join the enemy team, but still be in the party with my friends. And my sole mission was just to run around and stab people. Because if we meet each other down a hallway and you have a gun and I have a knife and I still kill you, oh, you ain't going to hear the end of that one.
Yeah.
And I loved it.
We had so much fun doing that stupid stuff. Yeah, I miss those days a lot more than I care to admit sometimes. But but even then, you would still do pretty good. Like, that's the funny thing is, like, you would still do pretty good. It's just because we'd get matched up with. I mean, it was always funny we'd get matched up with really bad players, but
and back then, to bring the podcast topic full circle here, the game didn't fucking suck.
It did not. No,
it was a playable game from day one.
Yeah, it's fun, and I don't think they really updated. I mean, I'm sure they still had updates, but it's not like it is today. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, you're not getting
up in the air.
No, I'm for real. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they still updated it, but like, they didn't balance guns as much as they do these fucking days. They didn't change as much as they did, at least not then.
Well, I feel like,
do, you know what I'm saying?
I feel like majority of that is because of YouTube and Reddit, and there's just so much more platforms for people to discuss. Oh yeah, that gun's broken, and then people can, see it and be like, well, we're gonna nerf it.
Well, fuck the game developers for bailing on it. Who gives a shit?
Well, it goes back to, like you said earlier, beta test your fucking game.
Yeah, if you just did your shit in the first place, would there be no issues here? I struggle with that one. I'd never today.
And here's the thing too: when we say beta test your game, we're not saying have the game developers play the game. Send that shit out to fresh eyes. Someone that has no fucking idea what the game is, because they're the ones that's going to find all the problems.
Yeah, I mean, so, like, for example, today, if I want to go on the test server in EverQuest and test out some stuff and see what the new stuff's coming, I can. Doesn't hurt. Who cares what's coming? Does it really impact anything? If I go and tell somebody, you know what I mean?
Like, Smite really has one of those too. They have a public test server. Whatever you do on that server does not carry over to the main server. It is solely there for balancing.
Yes. Like, so I think that Smite is probably, if I could ever get into MOBAs, it's my kind of game, because they do everything that a normal game in my mind should do. You work on balancing, but at the same time, you have a test server where you can have, for example, me, you, and everybody else can go on there and play games and test out stuff that's coming. We're testing out some of the balancing they're thinking out. Yeah. And it's like, how fucking hard is this? How hard is this? Like, it doesn't make any sense. It's not. I mean, how much more could it possibly cost you to run a test server? Cap it. Let's say you can only allow 50 people in there. Whatever. I don't know. 100 people. I don't know how big a server is. I don't know this stuff. But there's no way it could be so much that you need all this other crap to go with it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I struggle. I'm struggling. I'm struggling. I've gone back to playing a fucking 20-year-old game instead of bothering.
And see, here's another cool thing, like the Diablo 2 remake. It was announced this year, like confirmed, announced. They just had their alpha testing a month ago. Alpha. So they got to move on to their beta, which I don't know when that'll be. And then they'll release the final product. And keep in mind, this is a game that's already been made.
Yeah, that all they did was update the graphics and a couple other things. Like,
yeah, and they're going through this much fucking testing to make sure that when the game launches, it's not going to suck.
And it might still, but at least they're trying.
If it does, I mean, that's up in the air. But it's a game that's already made.
Yeah, but it's like you already know what people are expecting with this game. Like, you just expect certain things to work the way it used to work. Like, we're not asking for you to change to redevelop the wheel here. We're just asking you to put the same damn game out with better graphics. That's it.
Yeah, put better rims on the wheel.
Yeah, I don't
give me some multi-spoke rims. I don't want that old 3-spoke design.
I don't want a damn hubcap, just
put some chrome on that shit.
Yeah. It's just wild, man. I just one one of the guys I work with, he was talking about a new MMO that's coming out. I can't remember what he called it, Avalon or Albi. I don't remember what he said it called, but he told me to look into it. Obviously, I haven't. I don't know what I don't remember what it was called, but maybe it'll bring some back. Like I tried. The problem is that, like you said, the MMOs have only gone in one way. Unfortunately, all MMOs either you subscribe or it's pay to win.
I still can't get past MMOs. There's one thing that all MMOs do that it fucking drives me up the fucking wall. Why does the town space need to have 5,000 fucking people in there that lags up the fucking game? Why?
Well, yeah,
here I am. I'm not in town. I'm playing on my fucking awesome PC over here, dropping 200 plus frames per second. I go into town. I'm at 15. What the fuck is this about?
Oh my god! Yeah, I remember. So this is sort of another funny anecdotal story for you, bud. So I need a laugh.
Ha!
It got me. So I used to have to play. Obviously, I couldn't play at full settings anyway. But I used to have to play the game. I had to turn everything all the way down to go into a freaking regular city. Like it was at the time, it was called Plane of Knowledge, which is where
what you're saying is your PC blew up when you went into town.
Yeah, damn near. So like literally, I have to look at the ground, far clip planes all the way down, and I have to try to run and see where I'm going at the same time without popping the map, because when you pop the map, it has to load up, and then that requires and that makes you lag out. This is fucking nuts. You're like just trying to run, hope you get the right way. You're like, oh yeah, I know where that pebble turns. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so ridiculous to think about all the little things that we used to do. You know, I was a kid then, but
yeah,
that you had to do to try to avoid stuff.
Doing all this shit on dial-up connections or like low-speed broadband at the time. Ugh.
Yeah, I remember when I first got like a gigabyte of RAM, and I thought that I was like hot shit, you know, because the game actually ran pretty smooth, and I turned spell effects on for like the first time I've ever seen spell effects, and I was like, "This is fucking cool," you know, because I actually got to see the spell effect. Yeah, it's like, God dang, I didn't know this was all here, you know. And like, there's certain things that I didn't know. Yeah, obviously, I knew when you cast a spell, certain things happen. But like when you click like certain things, you're like, "Damn, what the? I didn't know it did that," you know. You're like, wow, it's like seeing color for the first time. It's like, what the hell is this? Yeah, it was wild, man. It's
like seeing an HD remake.
Yeah, it was like going from a bubble screen TV, like the old school bubble screens, and going to like a flat screen like HDMI, like 1080p. It's like, what the hell? It's so different.
Let's talk about that for a minute. How do you feel about all these HD remake games that are coming out? I guess first we should redefine what's the difference between a remake and a remaster too.
Yeah, you define it, because I don't know the difference.
So like a remaster is basically what Diablo 2 is. It's basically just graphic enhancement. Don't really mess with the game.
Yeah.
A remake would be like Resident Evil 2 that came out. Like completely ground up game engine redesign. The lore and the story and all that stuff is still the same, but completely different game engine. Because obviously it's been very successful for Resident Evil because it is a remake. But they didn't touch the story, which is why people like the game.
For it. That's what I'm going to say. I'm 100% for either one, really.
Well, because here's my thing. There's some companies that they rehash the same remaster.
I agree.
Like Final Fantasy is one that comes to my head. There's been 2 or 3 different Final Fantasy X remakes or remasters. Because like as consoles come out, they make a new quote unquote remaster of the game. I just feel like it's
we're in agreement on some of that.
It's just a quick cash grab. Because it don't take long at all for that studio to go from 1080 to 1440 graphics.
Right. So like for example, I've bought, now granted I wait till they're on sale, so it's not like I'm over here paying full price for anything, but like for the Assassin's Creed remasters, I think I bought basically all of them. I would only pay like between $5 and $10, so it's really not that huge of an investment, right? But like for example,
I'm speaking more in terms of launch price though. So like, would you spend $40 for a game? Like if Destiny made a 4K remaster,
maybe Destiny, that might be the only one.
But I'm just saying,
because
isn't
that means they're relaunching servers too. That means we could actually play shit again. So I'm okay with that.
But I mean, isn't that a hard pill to kind of swallow, to spend this money on a game that you've already played, and the only thing it is just a graphical increase? And they're wildly popular because that's why they keep doing them. But doesn't that also say something about the current gaming market, that there's no
100%.
There's no good games that come out, so people just want to buy updated, pretty old games?
So Destiny's a weird one because of the MMO aspect of Destiny 1.
Well, Destiny's a bad example because they upgrade for free. But
yeah,
Assassin's Creed 2, we'll use that one because it launched. Yeah, it launched whenever 720 was a thing.
Well,
and
the cool thing about the
come out
Assassin's
with
Creed
1080.
one, so the Assassin's Creed 2 one came out with Assassin's Creed 2, Brotherhood,
all 3 parts. Yeah.
Yeah, and you got there was another game that was released that was not necessarily a part of it, but it was released to PlayStation exclusive only. You got that one as well. So I ended up with 4 games for the price. I think I paid $10 for it. I might have paid $20 for it. That's not launch price. So I didn't pay $50 for it. I bought it on sale. I would never, ever, this is just me, I would never pay full price for a launch game. Xbox Marketplace and Xbox Game Pass have convinced me not to spend full price on basically anything anyway.
Truer words have never been spoken.
Yeah, I just don't do it. But I usually wait until I catch because Ubisoft puts stuff on sale all the time. So usually I can catch one of them on sale for like, I think I bought Rogue, which was a remake that was released like at the tail end of 360 and was only released on 360. And I played it on 360, but I was like, I literally kept my 360 to play that game. And I really wanted to play it on the newer system with the better graphics and all that stuff and just see how much better it looked. And I paid for it, I mean, but I only paid like $8 for it. So it's a totally different scenario than paying $40 for it. Like Kingdoms of Amular, right? It's a really great game and it was released recently, but it's $40. I'm not paying $40 for it. I'm just not going to do it. Now, if I catch it for $10, maybe even $12, I'm in. I've already played the game. I've already played through it twice. I would play through it again because I really enjoyed the game and I really enjoyed the story, but I'm not paying $40 for it.
Yeah, it's kind of like buying a movie that you've seen 30 times, but this movie's now released in ultra high definition.
I'm not paying $40 for it. No.
No, well, I mean,
because they do that with movie,
but I wouldn't pay
do that
15.
Now too.
Yeah, I wouldn't pay $15 for a movie that's you can find at the 99-cent bin.
Because that's what they're doing with movies now. Like, for example, when you try to rent a movie, I'm sure you've rented a movie on any of the rental sites like Amazon or anything. It's like $4 now for a fucking movie for one time for 24 hours.
I don't rent movies.
What the?
I buy them.
No, but I'm just saying. I got kids, man. You got to watch. Sometimes you just got to. But even if you bought them a new movie today in Ultra HD or whatever, they're like $35.
They're 25.
25?
Yeah.
Is that on Xbox?
Yeah.
It might be because it's on there. I don't know. Some of the ones I've looked at were a little bit more than that. But
and
even
I
still,
love Xbox because they put all them combo packs together, and that's how I buy a lot of my movies. Like I bought all 8 Harry Potters for like $50, like a long time ago.
Yeah, the one that I regret not buying is one Friday the 13th. They put all like 13 Friday the 13th movies for $1 each. So it's like $13 for the whole series.
Yeah, and I love deals like that, man.
That's the stuff that I'm more of that guy. I don't go seeking out deals. I'm not that kind of guy. But if I find a good one, I will even if it's like my last like $20, I'll spend 10 of it to buy buy a game if it's a great deal.
What pisses me off is like I think this happened like a couple years ago or so. It was right before they released the newest Rambo movie, and I went and bought because they had like Rambo 1, 2, and 3 for $5 a piece, and then the 4th Rambo was like $7.50 or something. So I bought all of them because they were cheap. And I'll be damned if not even a month or two later they released all 4 in a fucking pack for like $5 or some shit. I'm like, you gotta be shitting me.
It's like that was my last $25, but damn it, I would have rather only spent 5.
Yeah,
that's so funny,
asshole.
Yeah, I'm not really a movie guy. I don't buy a lot of movies, but yeah, with remasters, If I get a good deal, I'm definitely in because I do like playing them on the slightly better console / whatever. You know what I'm saying? How do you feel about them?
I'm not a big fan of remasters, which is odd because I'm gonna buy Diablo 2, which is a remaster, but that's probably just
But
because I love that game so much.
yeah,
Remakes, I'm kind of weird with. I get why a lot of companies don't go after remakes. Like you're touching a collection of work that's been proven to be good. And if you do anything that changes the tone of that video game, it can be received very well, like Resident Evil, or it can be received and kill the reputation of that game almost. Like I've never played them, but when they revamped the Super Mario Brothers 3 on Wii, like the Super Mario Brothers U or whatever game it is, I've never played it, but I'm about willing to bet my paycheck that's a fun game.
yeah, I would completely agree. And it would be worth, in my mind, it'd be worth it if I caught it on a deal, right? I don't have a Wii, but if I did, or Wii U, whatever, if I did, it would be something that I would be interested in purchasing. Like, I have a Nintendo DS or whatever the hell it is. I don't know. A DS, and I bought Pokemon Yellow. I mean, it's not a remake or a remaster, but it's the exact same game. But I was like, hell, $10, I'm in, dude. I'm totally in. Here's my $10. And the thing I hate about the Nintendo store is you have to buy. So like you buy it as Nintendo coins. So you have to buy, I don't know, let's just say it was 105 coins, right? But the minimum you can buy is 120. What the hell am I going to spend 15 coins on? Like that's the only thing I hate about their store.
They do that so you keep buying shit.
Yeah, assholes. So
it's just like tax.
I never understood that.
You know, why are you gonna charge me 98 cents for an item when you know damn well I'm about to spend more than $1 on it, dicks?
Yeah.
Like, why can't you charge the item for 92 cents? That way I pay $1 flat. Assholes.
It's too much effort. But I guess we're sort of we disagree on remasters. I guess in my mind, if well, it also depends on the game, right? So I'm not going to buy every remaster that's ever been released because there's certain games like the Assassin's Creed series. I love that series.
Well, Gears of War is another good example, like the Ultimate Edition.
I was gonna say, did you buy it? You bought that, right?
Yes, because they revamped the game engine. You know, it went from releasing on 360 that was 720, 30 frames per second, and then the Ultimate Edition run on the Xbox One, and they bumped it up to 1080 and 60 FPS, which is the main reason I wanted it, because it was the very first start of switching over to their current game engine. I think it was Gears 4. This was before Gears 4 was released, because I'm pretty sure it went Gears 1, 2, 3, Judgment, the Ultimate Edition, then 4, 5. I think that's right. So that's the reason I wanted the Ultimate Edition too, because I wanted that 60 FPS, 1080 goodness, you know, because I love playing Gears multiplayer so much, and I'm like, 30 FPS versus 60? Fuck yeah, let's go.
And then you didn't even play it.
Yeah.
I mean, you played the game, but you didn't play the PvP part.
It was too long, man. My passion done burned out.
Yeah, it's kind of funny, you know, the way gaming's worked in general. You know, the way I look at it is that remasters and that sort of stuff is like I said, it depends on the game. If there's certain games, like for example, I'll never buy a sports game. You know, there's no point in remastering those, right? But I wouldn't buy them. Even if they tried to re-release, like for example, NHL did it, where they re-released the '94 game, which was, I guess, like considered one of the best. That was on, I think, the Super Nintendo.
I don't know. I might buy another version of MLB Slugfest, like them one-off games.
There's certain things. Yeah, there's certain things that because of the, but that's not.
But
you're buying it because of
the realistic ones that just change the roster every year.
Right. Yeah. There's slightly difference between those two. Yeah, like if I could find NFL Blitz, the original Blitz, not some of the follow-ups that they try to make, but the original one, and I could buy it today, even if they didn't even remaster it. If I could buy it today, I would, because I enjoyed NFL Blitz, the original one ever made on PlayStation. I think it was PlayStation 1.
Yeah, it was.
That was like my favorite game. Me and my brother had so much fun playing that stupid game, and I would probably buy it today to play it again. You know what I'm saying? Like, but that's a lot about nostalgia and just like what it means to me more than anything. But yeah,
if they remake it and they change things and they change things about the game, and then it could send that game to a shit show. They could change it for the worse, which is
That's
why
true.
I feel a lot of companies don't try it.
Well, yeah, I think a lot of them are just they don't want, like you said, especially like Final Fantasy and some of these other games. You wouldn't want that because you don't want to interrupt the story and what was the important part of the game, and you don't want it to lose that luster. Like, what if Diablo 2 is a bomb to you? Like, is that going to change how you felt about the original time you played it? You know what I'm saying? Like, is that
No.
going to change your opinion on it at all?
For me, no, it won't. But it's also like if you take wrestling as an example, when people retire, once they retire and they're gone from the company, their legacy has been cemented in the company. And then you got people like, for example, Mankind, like he retired, but then he comes back and he does all these damn appearances. And like he's a general manager of Raw and all that kind of stuff. He's kind of hurting his legacy a little bit. I mean, it's kind of cool you get to see him, even though he said he's done, but it's kind of hurting his actual career, I think.
Well, yeah, his is a funny story anyway because he lost a retirement match to Triple H and then was like back 2 months later. But
Well, I mean, it's the same way with The
wrestling
Rock.
doesn't matter. Yeah,
I mean, I'm just saying,
Wrestling's goofy.
it's the same way with The Rock. When he's gone, you think about his career and what a great career he had, and then he comes back for like a WrestleMania match, and then he comes back for another one, and then you're just kind of like, all right, dude, what are you doing here?
Yeah, especially what's so funny is one of those he like tore his pec and like delayed the filming of a movie, and his manager was like, "Bro, you cannot do this anymore."
Yeah.
He's like, "Bro, you're interrupting my cash, okay?" Yeah, it's I agree in that, and a lot of the premise of what you're talking about, where like if you continue to remaster these games, you're hurting the legacy of what that game stood for. But at the same time, like we were mentioning earlier, I do think that because we're in such a weird, I'm just going to say it, a sad state of video games,
They suck.
we have, I mean, there's probably, I don't know, 50 to 100 games pushed out every week. I mean, we're talking about totally different levels of video games, but video games nonetheless.
Yeah,
every
indie
week.
games to AAA titles. Yeah.
And like, I mean, when was the last time you and I played a game together? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I can't even remember what that was. Destiny, probably. But, or Ultimate, when was that? John's house. But no, we had to play Destiny since then.
I thought you were talking about like a new release game.
Yeah, the last time we played that was released new is definitely Destiny 2, for sure. Like, 100%. And that was like 5 years ago. Or whatever, 3 years, whatever, however long ago it was. It just doesn't happen anymore. Like, I don't play new games that much. I don't know, man. I'm worried. I think that there's a lot of games that people, well, I think part of it is like what we talked about Fortnite earlier. And,
well, I guess you can compare it to music too. Like you just mentioned, there's an oversaturation of games right now, and a lot of them suck. I mean, if you go on the Steam store, there's a lot of cheap games on there, but they're cheap for a reason. Now, don't get me wrong. There's some hidden gems in there. They're far and few. Very far.
Yeah, and there's a party that just wants to support them. But yeah, like I've got like 400 and something games on Xbox, and I probably only played less than half of that, dude. Now, of course, a lot of that's me and my brother sharing games, and he buys some stuff that I don't like, and I buy stuff
out of that 400, how many did you actually spend the actual release price for?
Maybe 5.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to like make it sound, but it's honestly, Anthem, Destiny 1, well, not on the Xbox One, but still for Destiny 1, because I bought it on the 360 and it carried over to Xbox One. I still paid full price for it. And then Destiny 2 and Assassin's Creed Origins, the one that's in the deserts, and that's the only other, I think that's it.
Odyssey.
4 games. No, the not Odyssey, the one after, the one where they're in these like with the pyramids and stuff. I think that's Origins, right?
I don't know.
I think it came before Odyssey. I can't remember either. Either way, my brother bought that for me for my birthday, so that was like last one. So 4 games, maybe 5, full price. I'm with you. Most of them are significantly below that. But any closing thoughts on our rambling, bambling, crazy ride talking about video games again?
They suck.
Well, that's about what I expected.
Yeah.
Until next time.
So next week, because we already told you what we was going to talk about today. Next week, we'll be talking about shit that they should have taught you in high school. So,
that'll be a fun episode.
Yeah. So make sure you tune in for that one. I'm going to go ahead and do this before Chris tells me to say goodbye. I'm going to say thank you for listening. I'm going to ask that you check out the Discord. And I'm going to ask that you check out the Facebook page, the Twitter, and that kind of stuff. Once again, thanks for listening. And I'll hand it off to Chris.
Thank you. Thank you. And as always, we appreciate you. And bye.
Hey, everyone. If you made it this far, we appreciate you listening to the end. If you want to get a hold of us, our social links, we have a Facebook, which you can find Chris and Bud Show. Our Twitter is Chris and Bud Show 1. Chris's personal Twitter would be at Deliberate88. My personal Twitter would be at BudB88. We also have a Discord server that we've launched that's free for everyone to join. You can find the link for that on the Twitter or the Facebook page. Discord is going to be the easiest way to interact with me and Chris. Once again, thank you for listening, and we'll see you next week.